Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio, your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Hi, good afternoon, and welcome to the Persistence Payoff Show. We're here on USA Global TV and Radio. I'm your host, Kimberly Schafer. I'm on my own journey with persistence. I am a first-time inventor and entrepreneur. I'm the inventor of the Ring Thing, which is a waterproof patented ring holder. And I'm learning every day about the importance of sticking to your goals, setting them, and persisting through challenges. One of the things that I've learned on this journey through this show is that persistence can show up in many ways for all of us. And it's remarkably consistent across people and across situations. It's that moment of deciding whether or not to persist or to give up. And it can take place with a large project. Maybe you're organizing a large event or a huge project at work, and you can either continue or decide to give up. Or it can be in the morning when the alarm goes off and you need to go work out and you don't feel like it. And so you have to make that decision about whether to persist and go for it or just give up. And that moment, that decision point is key for all of us and applies across all situations. And that's what I'm really interested in talking about. That brings me to our guest today, who I'm so excited to talk to because he has a life of purpose and persistence and some great examples. Walt Schafer'S got his PhD in sociology at age 25 from the University of Michigan and was a university professor for more than 40 years. He's written numerous professional articles and 8 books across subjects ranging from juvenile delinquency to stress management. After running track at the Division I college level, he went on to run 17 marathons, and he has won national senior age group championships in bicycling. When he was in his 50s, he decided to take up whitewater kayaking and subsequently kayak through the Grand Canyon 4 times, the last time when he was 67 years old. He's led very large community projects, including a group of 22 Rotary clubs that were involved in a series of community development projects in Tanzania in the Kilimanjaro region. He also led a nonprofit in Northern California to rebuild a historic covered bridge that was destroyed in the Camp Fire. He serves as the chair of the Board of Trustees of a very large hospital system in Northern California. And for me, most importantly, he's my father. So I'm just thrilled to have him on and have a chance to talk and learn from his experiences. So please welcome my dad, Walt Schafer'S.
Thank you, Kim. This is a true joy to join you here today, and it's an honor, and I'm delighted to join this excellent program that you have been presenting. So thank you for the invitation. I'm grateful.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm really excited to talk because I'm sure I'm going to learn a lot of things as well. So just to lay the framework, I'm 65. You're 86. So I've known you for a very long time. And one of the things that I have seen throughout my whole life is that you have a very unique ability to visualize a project, focus on it, and accomplish it. And that has crossed genres across your personal life and your professional life. And I'm really interested in talking about that. And I also want to point out that it's not over. You know, you have accomplished some amazing things and you're still very engaged in community projects, and there's more to come. So I'm looking at our discussion as reflecting on what has happened so far, and that will also inform what your next projects are, because I'm sure that they're coming. So, I think that unique quality that you have is really special and worth sharing. So to start, I would like to ask you to tell us about the recently completed rebuild of the Honey Run Covered Bridge. And you led a local nonprofit for many years through a number of challenges to accomplish that. And I wonder if you could just take a couple of minutes and talk to us about that project and what some of the challenges were you faced and the role of persistence in completing that bridge.
Well, thank you. I'm happy to do that. You know, the Honey Run Covered Bridge in the canyon where I live in Northern California existed for 131 years until the Camp Fire in November 8th, 2018, which destroyed the nearby community of Paradise and took the covered bridge with it. It was a tragedy because the pedestrian-only Honey Run Covered Bridge had been kind of an icon of this entire area. It was an event center. People visited, people swam there. So it was a great loss. That January, just 6 weeks later, Robert Catalano, a friend and colleague, president of our Honey Run Covered Bridge Association that owned the land adjacent to the bridge, gathered a group of 25 stakeholders together and decided what should we do about the covered bridge. And we decided at that meeting to rebuild the bridge. We thought we would get FEMA money, federal money, or at least try. The bridge was owned by the county at that time, and it turned out that FEMA money was not available. And so we went back to the county government and said, why don't you give us ownership of the bridge and we'll raise money to rebuild it. And we set out on a journey that has taken us up to the present time. So that was January 2019. And just a couple months ago, we had the ribbon cutting for the rebuild of the Honey Run Covered Bridge, now owned by that nonprofit. So it's been quite a journey. I was vice president when we started. Robert Catalano, the president, unfortunately passed away back in 2021, 22, and so I took over that effort and have been leading it since. So it's not just been me. And there are three terms, I think, that describe our effort. Number one, resilience. Number two, persistence. We just kept at it. And number three, unity. We brought together multiple elements of the local area, public and private, to make it happen. So just sticking with it day after day after day. For example, I was involved in Zoom meetings for over 2 years with our engineer, our project manager, our construction companies, and we just kept making the little decisions that need to be made to bring it all to fruition. So it's been a great joy.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. It was a labor of love for you and for everyone on the committee. And it's a historic moment for the town to have that rebuilt and available to people. So congratulations, first of all.
Thank you. I might just add, hrcoveredbridge.org is our website, and there's a whole story about the history and the rebuild. hrcoveredbridge.org.
Mm-hmm. All right, great. It's well worth looking at. It's an incredible story. Looking back, like this quality that you've had since you were quite young, and I was reflecting, going back to when you were in college as a young adult, you really started to personify this focus and persistence. And if we go back to that time, you were at University of Michigan on a track scholarship. Our family are immigrants. There were no college funds available to help pay for college. So your scholarship in track is how you got through college. And so you ran track at Division I level. I was born when you were 20. My sister was born when you were 23, and yet you still completed your PhD when you were 25. So I wonder, when you look back at that time and the focus and the persistence that it took at that young age, where do you think that came from? And do you feel like that quality has stuck with you through your whole life in the same form?
Well, I appreciate that. It really had its origins, I think, in high school. because I was not a great scholar, and mainly through athletics, through track and basketball, but especially track, I learned, that I could accomplish and make things happen. And so the roots really, I think, go back to that. And then I went to the University of Michigan, and I went with the intention as a freshman in becoming a sociology professor, and had that goal. I remember from the first time I talked to a school counselor beginning my freshman year. I said, I want to be a sociology professor. And I never wavered from that and just kept going, working hard. It was not easy. I had multiple jobs in the summertime and in the holidays. But I think athletics, I think track really helped nurture that part of me, and led me to believe that I could accomplish, I could set goals and make things happen. And I've always been grateful to those experiences very young.
Yeah. Well, and starting off as a professor at 25 or 26, you're teaching students who aren't much younger than you. And so that must have been an interesting experience also to be in that professor role with people who were kind of your age mates.
Well, it was. I have to say it was somewhat intimidating because at least back then, we didn't get any training about how to teach. The focus was on scholarship, on writing and research, and teaching was kind of just what you did. You copied people that you had, but we had really no guidance about how to teach. So those first years were challenging, but I decided I'm just going to do it and pretend like I know what I'm doing and stick with it and get better and better. And by the time mid-career, I feel like my teaching was pretty effective. So
Yeah.
setting a goal, just staying with it, and kind of made it happen.
Yeah. Well, that's and in your academic career, you've written 8 books, and I believe you were pretty young when your first book was published. If
I
I'm
was I was in my late 20s. I co-authored a book with a graduate student, and then with a colleague, and I was 29, I think, when my first book came out. So it took a great deal of focus. I mean, persistence includes very hard work, long hours, and combination of being able to focus and work hard and stay with it over a period of time until you've accomplished the goal that you set. And that's kind of what I've done.
Yeah. And I believe that also translated into your athletics. I mean, running 17 marathons is no small feat. And how did you decide to do 26 miles is a long way to run. So how did you decide to just give that a try and then stick with it?
Well, I just, I was going through kind of transitions in my life, and I decided, my running, my marathon training and competition is going to be symbolic of the fact that I'm going to be okay no matter what, and I'm going to stay with my goals. And it became kind of symbolic of my commitment to set goals and stay with it and make things happen.
Yeah. Well, and you certainly did end at a very high level. I mean,
Well, I was not not Olympic level, but I averaged 6 minutes a mile for 26 miles. 2 hours and 37 minutes was my best time, which was pretty good for kind of an amateur. I was not a professional level, national level, but it was pretty good, and I hit my best time when I was 37 years old. So a number of years went into training to make that happen, and I've always been grateful for that experience.
yeah. Well, and also no small feat that you were doing that while you had a very full teaching schedule. So it's not that you had a lot of free time,
Yeah, that's right. I had to be efficient early in the morning, sometimes late in the afternoon, evenings, um, in the rain and the sunshine, and it just kept going. And I had a training routine, and I just stayed with it, and no matter what else was going on, that was kind of a stability zone for me.
Yeah. And was it around that time that you helped to found the Chico Running Club?
Yes, that happened when I was 37 years old, I think. And
Yeah.
a group of us came together here in our town of Chico, and decided to form a running club, and we did. And we brought in an Olympic gold medalist from New Zealand. It was in the United States at that time, Peter, um, blanking, to speak to us, and Peter Snell. And he came up and spoke to us. And just one other thing, that persistence for me has not just been a personal thing. It's, many of the things that I've done have been with others, not just myself. But the Chico Running Club is an example of that. I mean, there are 9 of us met at our home, and we decided, let's form a running club and let's start a couple road races. And we did that together. Had this world-class speaker come, and so persistence is not just a personal quality. It's kind of uniting with others to accomplish goals and make things happen.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a beautiful thing to use that to, there's a saying that a candle doesn't lose any of its own light by lighting another candle. And I think about that when you were just talking about persistence, that your own persistence and others help to ignite that across a community. And
Yeah,
I believe that, oh, go ahead,
that's
sorry.
certainly been true in the rebuild of the covered bridge as well. I mean, we have a small board, and I was the president of the board for several years and kind of the leader. But it's really been a team effort, and so it's kind of collective persistence as well as personal persistence.
Yeah. Well, that's really interesting, because I'm thinking about all of the different ways in which you have interacted with people as an athlete, as a professor, as a involved community member, as a Rotarian. And I'm curious to know if you feel that there are similar qualities that people who you see exhibit persistence and really stick with things, if you've noticed any shared qualities across those people.
Well, it's a really good question, and I think one is a commitment to a set of values of making a difference. People share that; we share it together. That's one, and another is patience. You don't make good things happen overnight. It takes time, and so patience and cooperation, sharing the ups and downs. So those are some of the qualities that I think my friends and colleagues have shared.
Yeah. I would love to talk a bit about your Rotary projects in Tanzania, because that was an incredible effort that you helped to spearhead. And as you were saying, it also involved many other people across 22 different Rotary clubs. And can you talk with us a little bit about that effort for community development and what that took and what were some of the challenges that you faced?
Well, the origin of that was that at a Rotary district conference, I heard someone do a presentation on an innovative water well that was being used in the third world. And I came back, and we'd always done kind of one-off projects through my Rotary Club, do one thing and then move on to something else. And I came back and brought together 3 leaders in my Rotary Club. I had been president, 200 members. I'd been president the year before. And I came back and said, how about if we do something about water in Africa? And the 4 of us agreed, and I then set in motion inquiring where we might do some meaningful work, and through a series of telephone calls around the country, identified an area near Mount Kilimanjaro in northern Tanzania. So we decided, let's explore that. So I got on the telephone and called the president of a Rotary Club in the city of Moshi near Mount Kilimanjaro. And I said, here, this is who I am. This is who we are. Might you be interested? So I then applied for a travel grant from Rotary International Foundation. And my wife and I flew to Tanzania to meet the Rotarians, brainstorm about what we might do. And we set some goals together with Rotarians from Tanzania, Rotarians from Chico, and we came back and started raising funds on our side and developing plans back and forth with the Tanzanians, and we then developed some agreed projects. Rainwater harvesting was the first, and again we had a team here, and then I reached out to other Rotary clubs in Northern California, and including your club in La Jolla at the time, and to raise funds. So we developed at a distance. That was before email, and so we mailed things back and forth. This was 2008, and we developed plans, and so we were. I mean, the needs were identified by the Tanzanians, and we helped plan and bring resources, brainstorm together, and it was just a broader kind of partnership, just like we do in our own community. And I flew there 9 times over a period of 11 years, up through 2019, and other Rotarians went with me to two different groups of 12, including you, Kim, went twice, and we not only did water projects, we did public toilets, we did computers in classrooms, we did agricultural improvements, and we helped improve medical clinics. So it ended up being a comprehensive community development project, a series of projects. We raised $566,000 in just those few years. So that was an incredibly meaningful shared project, again, hanging with it over a period of several years. So it wasn't just dipping in and giving money and then leaving. We stayed with it. I remember you helped dedicate a public restroom in one of your trips. And so it was a very, very meaningful set of activities across cultures, across continents, and it was a great honor to participate in those projects.
Yeah, well, I think those are such powerful projects, and as you're saying, they have a lasting impact. I'm sure that people are still using those public restrooms, and the clean drinking water systems that went into multiple schools and villages and towns are helping people right now and helping keep them healthy.
Yeah, I believe that's still true. I'm still in contact with our Rotary partners there. Just a few weeks ago, interestingly enough, after the campfire destroyed the covered bridge, they sent me a substantial check to put toward the rebuild, and that was really meaningful. And there were 26 schools altogether that we brought clean water and faucets and soap for the first time, wash basins, and our connection between our Rotary Club and the Moshi Rotary Club is still ongoing. There now a project is underway to help create and disseminate reusable feminine pads by schoolgirls, and so the work continues.
Yeah, what a great footprint you've left. I think that's incredible. A question I have in hearing about these different projects is, in your own internal process, there must be moments in any of these. I think about doing an international project, and I'm sure that there are hurdles with that you did not anticipate, or with the covered bridge, or even with teaching. There must be moments when it just feels like, oh, this is not going to work out. I don't see a way forward through this. And I'm curious to know what your self-talk is in your own head to help you get through that and continue persisting.
Well, that's a really excellent question, and I'll have to put some thought to that. I think one is just to sustain the belief in what you're trying to accomplish. Don't give up on it, and find a way, so I guess that's what I would say. Stick with the goal. There are hurdles, there are problems. They're all generally solvable. just find a way to get over those hurdles and get on and to get the job done.
And keep going. Yeah. And I'm also curious, when you have started these projects, whether it's the Chico Running Club or writing a book or these community projects, when you first visualize it, do you see the end product in your mind, or is it more the concept of like, wow, I would really like to do this. I'm not exactly sure how it's going to happen, but we'll figure it out along the way. And, my understanding is people visualize things differently. And I'm curious to know how your visualization is when you start these projects.
Yes, I mean, I have an image of the outcome, and stick with that image. Rebuilding the covered bridge is a good example of that. I mean, we had drawings and photos from the past, the old bridge, and we always envisioned a new bridge that was going to be identical in structure and size and materials, and it is identical. The profile is exactly the same. The wood on the siding is the same, and so we just hold on to that vision, and if it's realistic in the beginning, it's worth hanging on to and continuing to work toward.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to ask about something that's, these are terrific, very concrete projects. And then I want to change the subject a little bit to when you were in your 50s and you decided to take up whitewater kayaking, which is a little dangerous, a little, but you decided, I'm just going to learn how to do it. I'm going to come back and I'm going to kayak through the Grand Canyon, and you did it.
Well, you remember that the origins of that had to do with a rafting trip to the upper half with you and your sister and my wife and your stepmother, and I had a friend who was a whitewater canoeist, and he'd been urging me back in Chico. And so I came home from that, and I said, I'm going to learn how to kayak, and I took lessons right here in our own canyon. And 3 years later, I went back and kayaked the Grand Canyon, and then we kayaked for a lot for the next 15 years or so. And I went a total of 4 times. And if you go on YouTube and just look at Grand Canyon kayaking, you can get little 3 or 4 minute snippets of what it's like to kayak in the Grand Canyon. Unlike any rivers around here. I mean, it's huge water, huge waves, and one of the there are 2 or 3 kind of guidelines I used. One is move ahead in small increments in terms of level of difficulty. Number 2, always be with somebody better than me on challenging rivers, and number 4, always take a look from the bank if you don't know what's coming up. And so it was pretty thrilling to do those, and quite satisfying to be able to master that in my all the way till I was 67 my last time. 18-day trips.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very impressive. And, just it kind of makes me shiver a little bit to think about the flipping over, underwater, going through water that fast. Is just incredible that you did that and that you learned and learn how to do it and accomplish that goal. But there's another goal that you set of, I'm going to learn. I don't know how to do it. I'm going to learn how to do it. And I am going to go back and kayak the hardest river. I'm going to whitewater kayak in the most difficult place. And you did it 4 times. And I think that's really something.
It's not as technically dangerous as some other rivers, but it's the largest one of the largest bodies of largest water. There are not technical, rocks and boulders and so on very much in the Grand Canyon. We also took a trip to Chile and over into Argentina kayaking later on, and so that was fun as well.
Yeah,
good time.
Are you tempted to get back in?
Yeah. And, one of the other things is we did that with friends. We did that with friends in the Grand Canyon. We did that with friends in Chile. And so sharing these dreams and visions and sharing the patience and incremental improvements with friends is really satisfying.
Yeah, yeah, that's beautiful. It's very inspiring to hear that, and so you did the 17 marathons, you took up whitewater kayaking, and then you took up cycling, and you became a very accomplished cyclist. You won a national senior age group champion. And so can you talk a little bit about how that transition happened and what that has meant to you?
Well, my wife was in the early 2000s was an excellent triathlete, age group triathlete. She won the national age group championship in the long course triathlon, and I got into it through her and her women's triathlon group. I'd always been cycling a little bit, but that's kind of how I got into it. And then we did some racing. We did some, but in addition to that, we've traveled all over the world cycling. I mean, we've cycled in Scotland and Ireland and France and Australia and New Zealand and one of the greatest trips was in North Vietnam from Hanoi over to the Cambodian border and then up to the Chinese border. Those were not competitive, but they were really, really interesting trips. And we've traveled throughout the United States on bicycle tours and adventures. We're going to Iceland, in fact, in a few weeks here for a week of cycling, a week of sightseeing.
Wow, that sounds like a great trip. That sounds like a really great trip. And it's I think your fitness throughout your whole life, you've been running since you were in high school, and I don't think that you've ever stopped being active unless, there was a time when you had to have some surgery, and so you were forced to stop. But of your own, I don't think you've ever gone through times where you were not exercising. And so I'd love to hear from you how you feel that has influenced or impacted your life.
Well, it's really been central in my life. I mean, I my entire life since I was a young teenager, I've worked out almost every day, and I just think that has been really important in my energy level and my health. I mean, I'm so fortunate. I don't take any medications. I just took a nice hard two-hour run this morning with Teresa, my wife, and so I think that has been really, really important, not only for health, but as kind of a symbol of a stability part of my life that I enjoy, and I just hope I can keep doing it. I'm really grateful.
Yeah. No, I have no doubt that you will continue. I have no, I'm sure that will be the case. It's a wonderful role model, not just for our family, but for other people in your community to see that you can be active, and you can continue. And I'm very curious to know, now that the covered bridge has been built and has been opened, and you now are serving as the chair of the Board of Trustees of the local hospital system, which is large. I think there's 4,300 employees in the system. And, I believe that term will be wrapping up in the next year or so. I'm curious to know what you see as next projects or what you are interested in pursuing next.
Well, yeah, thank you. I'm glad you mentioned Enloe Health is the medical system here in Chico. We have, it's a 300-bed hospital and 18 specialty clinics, and it's a nonprofit. So we have a governing board of 14 people, and I'm in my 2-year term as chair of that board. We just met late yesterday afternoon, and it's a great honor, and and again, it's just something that comes along, and opportunity opens up. It's a means of service, of cooperating. We have our own collective visions about where we're going. We're just halfway through a new, very large, comprehensive Cancer Center, and it's similar. You have a vision, you work at it, things come up, and collectively we guide it along, and it's going to open another year or so. So that is very very meaningful as well.
Yeah, I like that. And so far you've written 8 books, and I feel like you still have another book in you, perhaps at least one, perhaps reflecting back on all of this and, the lessons learned. And do you have any interest in writing another book?
I'm thinking about that. One of them is, I did a little thing in my Rotary Club with a list of, it was a program for our Rotary Club. Here are 35 life experiences. I had them up on the screen. Which 3 do you think are not true? And we had a guessing back and forth between me and the audience. It was really fun. But those the life experiences kind of set in motion. It might be really fun to do a book just of events like this, experiences that I've had, little vignettes, and I've thought about putting those all together into some kind of a book. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but it's a dream I have. Yeah, I might not quite be finished. I have another year and a half on the board of Venlo Health, and after that, maybe I'll do some kind of writing.
Yeah,
I love to write. By the way, I mean, when I was young in my mid-20s as a graduate student at Michigan, and then at another major university, I thought I'm just going to pretend like I'm a writer, and I did, and that's kind of what's happened over the years, and I ended up being a fairly successful writer. With my book called Stress Management for Wellness, 4th edition. The 4 editions sold about 65,000 copies around the country at university campuses, and I love writing, and I'm still kind of pretending like I'm a writer.
Yeah. Well, I would say it's working so far. That's, you are a writer. You're not pretending anymore. You are a writer. So that's, but I do feel like there's another book of just sharing your experiences with the point of helping to inspire someone else and letting them know that it's possible. Because I think it's very easy for people to look at people who are successful or who have accomplished their goals and think they have some secret sauce. Maybe they came from a privileged background or they have extra something. And you do have a secret sauce, which is your spirit, but it's also true that has come through a lot of hard work and persistence, and sharing that, inspiring people, I think would be wonderful.
Yeah, well, thank you. That kind of plants an idea. Maybe that'll stimulate me to head down that path. I hadn't really thought about that, but maybe there is something that could be of value. Let me just also just add that kind of a guiding value throughout my life has been personal fulfillment through promoting the well-being of others, and that has been a guide in just about everything I've done, and so that combined with persistence, 2 valuable ideas.
Yes, yeah, I completely agree, and I think that would be a beautiful and very valuable book if you were to decide to write it, or a series of articles about that, because that's worth sharing and letting people know that it's accessible to everyone.
Yeah. Well, maybe the title could be Persistence Pays.
Yes. Yes, I think that's a great title.
Yeah.
I like it.
Well, and I just want to say how much I admire what you have done in your career as well in the medical world. Very demanding work for 34 years, and then this work with the ring thing and your work with this program. It's a gift, and thank you.
Oh, well, thank you. I really appreciate that, and I thank you for being my role model in setting a goal and focusing on it. So you've shown the way on that. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
We're just about out of time. And so I did want to give you a minute to share, like, if people want to connect with you, if they want to reach you directly or learn about the covered bridge or any other efforts, is there a way for them to connect with you?
Yes. My personal email is ws, my initials, ws.chico, CHICO, @yahoo.com, ws.chico@yahoo.com. And then the covered bridge is hrcoveredbridge.org. And also our Tanzania work is on a website as well, and it's called rotaryfornortherntanzania.org, rotaryfortanzania.org. And there are it's a robust website with a lot of details, as well as some videos and actually a documentary film that are linked at that website, rotaryfornortherntanzania.org.
Super. We will get those up. Thank you so much. Well, thank you so much for being here and for sharing this, and mostly thank you for being my father. I can't express enough how much I love you and value you. So thank you for that.
Thank you. I have to tell you that I've accomplished many things, but what I'm most proud of is you and your sister, my two daughters, and it's been a joy over the years to watch you grow and develop and contribute, and to be my best friends as well.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Now I'm going to try not to cry. So thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. So I end every show with a quote about persistence. And I feel like the quote that I select, again, I never know exactly how the discussion is going to go, but I feel like the quote always ends up reflecting the discussion. So the quote today is from Paul J. Meyer, who said, "Productivity is never an accident. It is always a result of a commitment to excellence, intelligent planning, and focused effort." And I think that that reflects very well our discussion today. I would love to hear from you in any capacity. If you have comments about the show or suggestions or questions about the ring thing, you can reach me anytime. My website is ringthing.com. It's all one word, ringthing.com. My email address is kimberly@ringthing.com. And we're here with the show every other Tuesday, and I look forward to talking again very soon. Thank you so much.
In a world full of noise, misunderstandings, and interruptions, master the art of listening with Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck is the listening mentor of USA Global TV and Radio, and the Amazon #1 best-selling author of Mastering the Power of Elevated Listening. Elevate your listening. Elevate your life. Join a global learning experience in person or via Zoom. Reserve your spot today. usaglobaltv.com/book-your-session or drjacqueline.thinkific.com. Join Dr. Kerbeck's listening courses or hire her to unlock deeper connections and authentic conversations.
USA Global TV and Radio, home of the YouTube Silver Creator Award, proudly presents Just the Thing for Your Ring, introducing the patented Ring Thing, your premium personal ring holder to keep your ring safe, nearby, and avoid loss.
The Ring Thing just got smarter. Add your logo and an NFC tag that opens to your website with one tap. Waterproof, inner padding, and now a forever business card.
Just the thing for your ring. Scan the QR code seen here to learn more about Ring Thing or place your order. Follow Ring Thing on Instagram at ring_thing_, or go to our website, ringthing.com.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA Global TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dyes. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.